Well, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I've got my new friend Mark here, and Mark is from Australia, and we travel in the same social circles. We have some of the same friends, but I've never met you before, right?
Never.
Have you ever seen me?
Vaguely, I think maybe I've seen you around.
Because you go to Big Billy's, you know, this is your house right here, like Big Billy's house, and I may have seen you over there, I don't know.
Or maybe at Bamboo Bob's.
Bamboo Bob's, yeah, we kind of go to the same
lots
place.
Of the different.
Yeah. But anyway, really nice to meet you. You were over at my house yesterday, and we started talking about motorcycles. And you got an incredible collection of motorcycles, and we're going to be showing very shortly here, guys. We're going to be showing Mark's collection of motorcycles. He's going to tell you all about what motorcycle you should consider buying if you're coming to the Philippines. So Mark, a little backstory, like how long have you been in the Philippines?
Well, I first came in 1983. So
Wow.
it's a long time ago.
Long time ago.
As a young fella.
Yeah.
And I spent 2 or 3 years in Angela City, which is a pretty famous place near Clark Air Force Base back in those days.
Right.
And then I left in 86 and I never came back until 2019.
2019.
19, yeah, I came back for a visit to see a friend of mine who's got a resort on Sigihor Island, which is the island close
right
to
by
here.
my house, yeah.
Yeah. So I came back, and then a friend of mine said, "Why don't you retire?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm over 60, so why not?" So I was waiting, you know, through the pandemic back home, and the borders opened on February the 10th, and I was here February 13th.
Wow.
And so I'm retired. I've got a retirement visa, and I love the weather and, you know, riding motorcycles.
Pouring rain on us.
Yeah, but, you know, I love riding motorcycles, and on average, I used to ride in Australia maybe only about 3,000 kilometres a year, you know, 1,600 miles in US terms, I suppose. But here I've ridden 8,000 kilometres in 5 months.
Wow.
So I just love it. It's perfect for me. And where I came from was down south in Melbourne, and that's quite cold. So
Now, what was your career back in Australia?
I was a health and safety specialist.
Huh. Wow.
So I used to advise business owners around how to manage the risks associated with injuring people. So yeah, it was good.
And so you just, once you've been in the Philippines, you kind of decided that, because I've been to Australia many times, and I always thought Australia was an incredible place, and, you know, friendly people, beautiful country, great health care, all kinds of, you know, nice things about Australia. But so many guys from Australia are coming to the Philippines. I mean, loads of them.
Australia's an absolutely magnificent place. It's probably the best country in the world. It's got great diversity. It's got this type of weather as well. But it's a little bit boring. And if I'm by myself, I find it just lonely a little bit. So here in the Philippines, which once I came to the Philippines when I was younger, it was always in my blood. I always wanted to come back. So, you know, it took me 35 years to come back. And then I just feel at home here with the people, the culture, the weather, everything. So yeah, no doubt Australia's great, but it's a bit boring, bit lonely.
That's a question I get from a lot of guys that are considering coming here. They say, well, I'm afraid I'm going to get bored in the Philippines. They say, what is there to do there? I'm going to get bored. And I think everybody has to find their own things that interest them, you know. But I've never been bored since I've been here, and I've got more friends in the Philippines than I've had any time in my life.
Yeah. And same here. And I'm not the type of guy that's going to sit around a bar and just drink beer all day.
Yeah.
I'm out and about and, you know, riding my motorcycles and, you know, trying all the great food here and talking to people and learning the language and trying to...
Oh, you're learning the language?
Yeah,
too?
yeah, I can speak the language, which is great. And, you know, and people respect that.
Yeah, they do.
People really, you know, they acknowledge if you're trying to, even saying good morning to them in their language, they really respect that. So it's good, yeah.
So I see your shirt there, DDT Motorcycle Club Victoria.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
So the DDT Motorcycle Club was established back in the early 80s, probably 80, 81. And it's a group of guys, and we all used to meet at the pub in Australia, and we used to have motorcycles. So it's a group of guys that's been together since then. Some of them have unfortunately died, but you know, the key members are still there. And what we do back in Australia, we ride together. So maybe 2 or 3 times a year we'll go on a ride, and it's the same group. So I've known these guys again since 1980, 81. So
I imagine there's some good roads in Australia. You can ride for miles and miles, for, you know, in
Beautiful, beautiful
stuff, right?
roads, like the States.
Yeah.
Right, beautiful, you know, diversity of roads, the twisties. We always head for the mountains, and it's great. But it's, you know, unfortunately, it's a little bit of a police state now, and you know, you do 25 kilometres over the speed limit, and that's it. You lose your motorcycle. So
really, you lose your motorcycle?
You lose your motorcycle for a month, and you got to pay. They impound it, and you lose your license and that. So we still, you know, have fun, and it's not always about, you know, the need for speed, but sometimes when you're on a big 1200, and I've had Harley Davidsons and Nortons and any bike you can think of, you want to, you know, you want to run their motor. That's what they're built for. Here, you can do it, but it's a lot trickier here because of all of the
obstacles. Yeah.
It's
almost like one of those arcade games where you know, rooster, dog, old lady. You know, it's like
dogs, cats, tricycles, people, buses, trucks. It's, you know, and it's
rocks.
Important for people to know if they're not a semi-experienced motorcycle rider. Don't think you're going to come to the Philippines and ride motorcycles easily, because it's a minefield. It's similar, I suppose, to a Vietnam or any of those Asian countries. So
you'd be driving along and the lane was just ended. There's a big hole there. You know, it's like, or have you seen the one down here? I think it's on National Highway where, because they've expanded the highway like another lane, and they expanded another lane, but there was a power pole there. Instead of moving the power pole, they just put some orange or yellow stripes on it, and right in the middle of the lane is a power pole.
Yeah.
You're going along and like, ah.
It's especially tricky at night.
Yeah,
and at night here, a lot of the people don't have a tail light.
Yeah, or a headlight.
So suddenly you're coming up behind somebody, and you go, what the hell? So you're using your high beam to sort of illuminate them so you can, you know, see where you're going. I've had quite a few heart starters in the Philippines, you know, where my heart's just gone, oh my God.
That was my question. You haven't had an accident yet?
Never. Yeah. So.
But that probably goes to your skill level, though, because, you know, you probably, you know, are a much more skilled rider and aware rider than a lot of these guys that come over and haven't been on a bike since they were in their 20s.
And that's, you know, an important message, that they can come over and potter around, and they stick you to the, you know, to the right side of thing, and they just go around. But, you know, if you're slow and steady, you're right. And once you get out onto the roads, out into the provinces, it's a lot easier. But it's about driving defensively and knowing the, you know, the risks associated with things. So, you know, I figured out at speed, travel around about 70 to 80 kilometres per hour. I'm not sure in mile per hour what that is. That's out on the highway. Around town between, you know, 50 is okay, 50 kilometres per hour. Anything from 40 to 50. But yeah, it's fun.
I just stay away from other drivers. That's something I learned from my dad when I was learning to drive as a kid. It's like, if there's a car or truck, I stay away from them. You know, and any other, I always assume if there's somebody in the left lane or right lane where I'm at, that they're going to change lanes and not tell you they're going to do that.
It's a tricky one here because they don't indicate.
No.
Right? You think, and you don't know, and you know, there's the Filipino hand signals, which is that one which you know you adopt.
They do that. I give it credit to them. They do that usually.
Yeah, which is great. But sometimes, you know, and in Australia we drive on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So the Philippines, you drive on the US side, right? But it's a mindset coming here. I'm thinking, okay, so these guys are going to, which way are they going to go? So, so here sometimes, you know, you're overtaken on the inside or outside, whatever.
Yeah, it's perfectly okay to overtake on either side here. But yeah, so it's definitely not for amateurs to come over here and just hop on a bike. And because I think what happens with a lot of guys, they get overconfident. They drive here for a couple of months, you know, oh, I've got this, I got it all figured out. And then I think it's either speed or drinking. Most of the guys I know that had an accident, they were either drinking or they're going fast.
Yeah.
Those two things.
Yeah. Look, exactly. And I mean, the faster you go, you're increasing the risk.
Yeah.
Right. But if they've lasted a couple of months driving around here, they've passed their apprentice.
Yeah.
You know, they've done their hours that they need to do. If they survive 2 months without an accident, they're good to go.
Well, you've got this incredible collection of motorcycles downstairs. So why don't we go downstairs, and I'd like you to tell us about the bikes and tell us, you know, your advice on what kind of bike for someone to get. Because a lot of guys have no idea. And also they have no idea what the selection is here. Like, what can you get and what you can't get here, because you are limited. You can't get everything.
No, you can't. And you know, amazingly, a lot of the bikes here are like 150cc or 155cc, and back home they're like a toy.
Right.
You know, because the roads are so good.
Yeah.
You know, these are toys, but you've got to understand that they're built specifically for the Filipino condition.
Right.
And a 155cc, and some of my bikes, and they're all Filipino bikes. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki.
When we say they're Filipino bikes, what do you mean by that?
Well, we'll go down and have a look at the collection, and I'll talk through each
they're name
one.
brand bikes, but...
Well, yeah, the most famous Filipino bike is the Suzuki Raider.
Are they made actually for this country? And
Well, yeah, they're made for this country, and they've got a huge following. Suzuki Raider, if you Google it, there's like thousands and thousands of Filipinos that have those bikes, and they're a great, we call them a pocket rocket, a fuel-injected pocket rocket. They do 140 plus.
Wow.
140 kilometers an hour plus for a little 150. So great fun. Yeah, so, but there's different bikes for different purposes, but there's one bike I'll show you in the collection that I use all the time, and it's probably the best one because the roads here are not good.
No. They are doing a lot of work on the roads. I've been here for 3 years. I've been surprised. They put in brand new roads. They've repaved a lot of the roads. They're constantly doing construction. So things here in Negros are improving as far as the roads.
And if you go north of us, so if you look at Negros and Dumaguete's here, and you go up to Siatun and go up to, you know, Bayawan and places like that up north, the roads are magnificent.
Really?
The roads are just fantastic.
I haven't been that far.
Yeah, oh, it's just a wonderful, wonderful trip around the island. And if any of your viewers who want to come here and contact you, and they need to, you know, contact me, and I can either take them or show them or give them some tips around it. But it's beautiful motorcycle riding, beautiful scenery, all the coastline. You know, it's just fantastic.
Well, I got to do that. All right, so we'll end it right here, and next part is going to be looking at your motorcycle collection.
No worries.
Okay, we're down here with Mark's incredible motorcycle collection. Look at that. Those are all his bikes. And how long did it take you to collect all these?
5 months.
5 months. Are you done? Are you going to buy more?
I'm pretty done. I'm pretty much done.
So there's nothing missing from your collection that you'd like to have?
There's always some things that I'd like to have, but this is enough.
Yeah, one thing I forgot to ask you, back in Australia, I assume you must have had some really nice bikes there. Would you just sell them all before you came here, or what did you do?
I've still got 2 there. I just sold a big Harley Davidson Road King. Yeah. 1690cc. That was a beautiful bike, but I was going to bring it over here as part of my retirement, but they said anything with a motor you can't bring over here.
You can't?
Yeah, and I didn't want to have to go through the hassle of paying, you know, huge stamp duty or customs imports and things like that. And you can buy Harley Davidsons here.
Yeah, I think in Cebu they got them, don't they?
Yeah, there's a guy that goes to Bamboo Bob's. He's got a big 114.
I've seen that one, the black one.
Yeah. But again, Harley Davidsons aren't suited really for Filipino roads.
Right.
Okay, that's the reality of it. So they're good for a bit of a pose, riding around and everything, but you can still get your thrill without them. So yeah, I've still got 2 bikes in Australia, but all big CC stuff, you know, 1200cc, big Yamaha Tenere.
But do you still have a home in Australia?
Yeah, I sold it, and the last 6 months before I came here, I lived in a motorhome or bus.
Okay.
Converted into a house, so yeah.
Right. So, sorry it's raining, but it is a rainy season, so we got no choice but to film in the rain. And we'll go through these bikes one at a time. So why don't you start with this big red one there. Why don't you go in front of it.
Okay. So, this is the Honda 500 CBX.
Yeah.
It's about $6,800, brand new off the showroom floor. Great bike, super good suspension. You know, at the front it's got the shower front fork, so any road conditions that you come across in the Philippines, it just loves it. It just eats it up, right? There's no bumpy ride or anything like that. Lots of power. Cruises. I've had it out top speed of about 160 kilometers.
Wow.
That's fast in the Philippines, guys.
It is fast. That's fast anywhere.
So you don't pick that up, you know, just to see how it went. But great bike, you know, really good fun to ride. Not so good if you got somebody on the back.
Mm-hmm.
The pillion passengers tend to sort of lean into you a little bit, which changes the way you ride things.
Yeah, my wife does that.
It's a little bit limited. There's no storage under the seat. But I just wear a backpack or strap something on the back here. I went all the way around Negros Island on this bike.
And you were just telling me, like, you've talked me into doing that, and you sounded what a wonderful ride it is, and it's something I never got around to doing after 3 years, but I'm definitely going to do it. Hopefully do it with you.
It's a great ride. There's some beautiful scenery, more so the west coast than the east coast. But there are some highlights around there, and it's something we did in Cebu as well. We were around the whole island of Cebu, the whole island of Sigihol.
Jeez.
And I've got that on my, we've got some videos coming up on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, what's the name of your YouTube channel again?
It's called Riding the Islands with Taro.
So it's a new channel. I'll be putting a link in the description, guys, so check it out. And please subscribe, subscribe to his channel, like his videos, share them on Facebook.
Yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, great all-round bike, big bike. If you're a big guy, lots of power, good brakes, all of those things. A little bit heavy sometimes in the tighter traffic or in and around Dumageddon, parking, but it's doable.
Now, is this bike readily available, or do you have to special order it?
No, they come up. A lot of bikes in the Philippines like this.
Yeah.
Originally I wanted a red one, and I went back 3 days later, it was gone. There was a black one there. I didn't like the black. 2 days later, it was gone. So, there was a black one at the dealer last week, it's gone. So, if you think you're just going to come here and just go and buy one of these, you might have to order it or just be lucky. I actually went to a different island to buy this bike.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I caught the midnight ferry to Cebu and then across another ferry to Bohol, and then went to Bohol and then bought this bike and then rode it back, put it on the ferry.
Oh, really?
All the way down Cebu, back to Dumageddon just to get this bike.
Oh, wow.
So, but in doing that, it's just so much fun.
Yeah,
especially if you're used to riding big bikes.
Yeah.
This is still a 500. Some people might say it's a toy, but it's not really a toy. It's still good, and it's got lots of capability for the Philippines.
Looks like something Tom Cruise would ride in a movie.
Yeah, I wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Being a safety guy, so yeah. But that's good.
Yeah, beautiful bike. Okay, next.
Next, this is the Honda ADV. It's a 150cc. This is the pick of the bunch to really ride in the Philippines. A couple of reasons why. It's got sort of semi-off-road tyres here. Right, it's got great rear shocks, the shower shocks, so that handles all the Philippine road conditions. And some of them are just, the roads are...
Yeah, the roads are not so good, yeah.
It's got 28 litres of storage under the seat. I put a top box on it. That's 42 litres. So me and my partner, if we go riding, we've got enough space there to really go somewhere for a week or 2 weeks. So we have a bag of clothes, we have our snacks, we have all of those other things, our rain gear, all of that under this bike. Fantastic bike. You need to do some hard to get.
Yeah. Again,
like this big baby here, these are hard to come by. Everybody wants them, and they go very quickly. They're around about 160,000 pesos, which I think is just under 3,000 US dollars, right?
Yeah, the peso's weakened against the dollar. The dollar's pretty strong against the peso.
$56 at the moment, which is fantastic for anybody coming
good for us,
yeah. So, a couple of modifications though you've got to do to this bike to suit Filipino conditions. One, I put the crash bars on there just to protect things. That's really cheap to do it. In US dollar terms, it's less than $50.
Wow, that's cheap.
Put the crash bars on. Put some spotlights on it so at night you can light up the road. Very, very important to have good lights in the Philippines, right? Especially when you come up behind traffic and they've got no tail light, you can't see them. So you need good lights, and I put twin horns on it. Right? You need to use the horn. It's not in New York City, but you need to let people know where you are. And these horns are twin horns. They're really loud. People jump and they know that I'm coming.
Let's talk about horn etiquette. Like if you go to a country like Italy, for example, they're honking their horn every 2 seconds, or Greece. In America, people don't honk their horn because they're afraid they're going to get shot. But here in the Philippines, it's considered the correct thing to do if you're going to overtake somebody, to give them a little toot So they know
a safety device.
It's a safety device as you're coming along, right?
And it's a warning device.
Yeah,
That's
a warning
what
device.
Designed
Yeah.
for, to warn the other road users. So you know, I just give them a quick beep beep.
Yeah.
Or you know, if I'm passing a truck or a bus, and this bike, I've done some modifications to the CVT drive to give it, make it a little bit more responsive. Now this bike is great now. I can, you know, 2 people on it, load it up to the hill. We can go anywhere. I come across a bus or a truck and I want to overtake. It's got the power.
Well, what kind of modifications do you have to do, and how did you even know it needs to be done?
There's a couple of, again, on the internet, and asking around, saying what do we do to get better performance out of this? I actually tried a different exhaust pipe, right, which has sort of opened up the gases and free, but it's too loud. It's just a headache, you know, riding.
Yeah, I don't like a loud bike.
Loud, right? So in here they just change a clutch setup, and the belt, it's a belt driven, and they changed there's weights.
Oh, there's no chain, it's a belt driven.
Yeah, it's belt driven, and there's 5 little weights in there. Now we changed the weights from 16 grams down to 12 grams, and the responsiveness of this bike was just changed completely.
Incredible. Wow.
It was incredible. And so really happy. We go anywhere in the Philippines, this is the baby. This is the baby to buy.
Back to this, I forgot to ask you, does this have a chain drive or belt drive?
Chain.
Chain, okay, yeah.
Chain. Right?
So that's the one, this is your favorite?
This is my favorite by far. Why? I can go anywhere. Any rough road, it doesn't really matter on this. You've got the great shock absorbers, long, they're super long. You know, it's higher, it's an adventure bike, as they say, right? It's an Adventure 150. Hard to get, but if you're coming to the Philippines, going to spend some time and want to do some riding around, get one of these babies. All right, less than $3 grand US.
Yeah. Okay, and next we have.
Next, one of the most popular bikes in the Philippines is the
Yeah,
NMAX.
a lot of my friends have this, especially the big guys.
Absolutely, this is the first bike I bought back when I came over. Really great. You'll notice the seat height on the Honda compared to the seat height on the NMAX. Now, if you're a bit of a big guy and you want to be able to get on and off a motorcycle easily, this is probably the pick of the bunch for this, right? Super comfortable. You can see how big the seat is.
Yeah.
It's low, so you know if you, it's easy if you're a short guy too. So you know this one is much taller, and so your feet might be on tippy toes. If you're a smaller guy, this is the pick of the bunch. Again, it's doesn't have the off-road capability that the Honda does. But you need to make some modifications to this when you buy them, right? Rear shockers, change the rear shockers so they can handle the rougher roads. Front forks, you know, change the oil in them. Spotlights.
Oh, you say change the oil, like what does that
They
do?
just put a bit of a heavier weight oil in it.
Oh, okay.
Than the factory, and it gives it a little bit, because these things tend to go clunk if they hit a pothole.
Huh.
Right, so spotlights, twin horns, phone holder, because the last thing you want to do is have your, you know, be looking at your phone all the time. Put it in there. It actually comes with a 12-volt adapter. You can put a little USB,
Nice.
you know, plug in there, so you can charge your phone. Just sits up there. Super good bike.
And this is made by Yamaha.
Yeah, Yamaha, brand new. They're still available. They're about the same, just under there, about 2,800 US.
Yeah, several of my friends that are big guys, you know, they've chosen this particular bike and they're really happy with it.
Really good. Top speed, I've had it to 122.
Especially if you don't go on bad roads. If you more or less stay on the main roads, you're okay with this one.
But sometimes, like, they've got roads in southern Cebu, in the eastern side of Cebu, they're terrible.
Yeah.
And this sort of bike, compared to the Honda, it's tricky. Or if you go up some of these roads to, you know, some of the tourist spots, some of the waterfalls or whatever, that's going to eat it up better than this. But this is probably the most popular, you know, bike in the Philippines for ease. It's really easy to ride. It's super comfortable, you know. So yeah, that's the.
Well, so like if you were going to go out for a ride, like how do you decide which one you're going to choose? Like, let me ask you this question: what conditions or what kind of trip, or would you say, okay, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take the NMAX?
The NMAX is a bit parked at the moment for a while, because if I'm going to go by myself somewhere, I'll take the big banger.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm going to go somewhere with two up, I'll take the ADV.
Okay.
So most of the time lately, I'm two up.
Are you going to sell this one?
Maybe. I'll see how I go. You know, every now and then I ride it, but you know, that's the beauty. They're not that expensive, these bikes. And, you know, considering to what you're going to buy in the States.
True.
And my Harley was, you know, so $20,000 for my Harley, so I can, you know, add up the collection. It's easy for me. It's, you know, but yeah, NMAX, good bike, very popular. Next one. Now this is called the Raider. Sorry, the Sniper.
Sniper.
Right. It sounds very military, doesn't it? But there's two very popular pocket rocket bikes, called pocket rocket bikes, in the Philippines. This one, the Sniper, 6-speed, 155cc, fuel injected, very comfortable, no space under the seat. Okay, but super comfortable, keyless. You don't need the key. It's just, you know, keep the key in your pocket and turn it on. Fast. It'll do 140 kilometers an hour.
Wow, that's fast.
Right, super light, super easy to get around on. Would I go around the island on this? 100%. 100%. You know, a little pack here, or if I put a rack on the back, it's easy. You know, or just wear my backpack. You know, because really, when you go somewhere in the Philippines, you only need, you know, 3 shirts, three or 4 pairs of underpants, you know, 3 shorts.
Unless you got your wife with you who brings shoes and this and that and that.
That's where you have the top box. And then you have a his and her part. But you can get saddlebags for these, throw over bags. You know, but great, really good bike, really quick, really fast. Very popular in the Philippines, the Sniper.
Yeah, very nice looking.
I was on my Honda riding up to Pamplona, and the road was great, and I was doing about 100, 105, and then I came up behind one of these things, and then I thought, okay, have a bit of a race. I'm trying to, you know, I was pushing it at 108, and this thing, he just clicked down the gear, just went, disappeared. Again, 140 kilometers an hour, just fantastic little bike. The scooters are all automatic, right? These have got gears. So if you want that feel of riding a motorcycle, 6-speed gears, beautiful.
But no clutch, right?
Clutch.
Oh, you have a clutch. Okay, yeah. So it's a regular motorcycle.
The 2 Scooters, no, they're just automatic, right? You've got your brake levers like that, right? These one clutch. So this is a traditional motorcycle.
Right. Okay.
Like the big one.
Yeah.
They're traditional motorcycles, but great, nice fun.
Do you find that your wrist gets tired, and like when I'm in town and traffic and stuff, I find my wrist starts hurting after a while, you know, shifting gears and pulling the clutch in and out.
Well, it could be like a manual car, isn't it? You know? Yeah. And you're driving in the city, you're always on and off.
Right.
No, look, I don't find it. And then, you know, when I'm driving around Etiquette, I'm there for, you know, maybe 10, 15 minutes. It's so close to where I live. It's 15 minutes away, and you get in the city. But I don't have a problem with that so far. But again, I alternate between different bikes. So if I'm really going in to do some shopping, I'll use the Honda because I've got the storage.
Right. Okay, last but not least.
And this one's a collectible. They only made 200 units.
Oh, really?
It's the 60th anniversary of the World GP. So
okay.
They're really typical Yamaha colours.
Yeah, beautiful colours.
Yeah, I love that bike. And this is a cult bike now. This is a cult Filipino bike, the Suzuki Raider. 150cc, 6-speed, fuel injected, pocket rocket. Absolutely pocket rocket. When they did the comparison of the Sniper compared to the Raider, the Raider one's hands down.
Really?
So if you go on a YouTube and you go Sniper versus Raider, you see the difference in speed. This is an absolute pocket rocket. Now I'm a big guy, I can still ride this. Sometimes have to open my legs when I turn the handlebars, but it's really good. Fuel injected, it's not a problem. Super light, it's 109 kilos.
Wow.
The bike. You know, I'm pushing 95 plus. So, you know, I'm not going to pick it up, but great little bike. So, for me, with the collection, it gives me that diversity of mood. So if I feel like, hey, I want to go out and, you know, get on the big bike and have a thrill and just, it's so easy with speed, I'll go and do it. If I want to go up 2 up, I'll use the Honda ADV every day of the week. If I want to, or the NMAX. If I want the need for speed, or if I want to have some fun or go up through the mountains, whatever, I'm going to pick one of either the Sniper or the Raider. Now, obviously, I can't ride all these at the same time. Yeah. But I've got, you know, in my retirement, this is what I do. This is what gives me the thrill, right? Riding motorcycles, riding the islands with Harrow, that's what you're going to see on, you know, so I'm going to be riding these around. 2 up, this is good. 2 up, this is good. Right, so the only thing where 2 people on the bike is the big one. It's a little bit tricky, only because the passengers tend to lean
Yeah, they do that.
and push you into it. So, but these are just great. So I've pretty much stocked my collection now. I did want a white ADV. They're very hard to get, the white ones. They're bringing out a new ADV, an ADV 160. So it's a different upgrade to that, but you know, I'm happy with that. That's
now, so do you only buy Japanese bikes now?
Yeah, look, in the early days I had every bike you could pretty much think about in Australia. So I had Nortons and Triumphs and Maxless and Harley Davidsons and Turbo Suzukis and Moto Guzzis. I had a Moto Guzzi collection. I had 7 bikes in Australia. Wow. And it's just something that, you know, I don't go and drink much, I don't smoke, I don't gamble, so for me,
this is it.
This is it. This is my thrill. This, eating the great Filipino food, getting around meeting people like you and Alan, and spending time with Ratty and going around listening to live music. We've got some great live music venues here, and that's what I like to do. Filipinos are great, good singers, and
so it sounds like you never get bored in the Philippines, then, huh?
Never ever get bored. Never ever get bored. And you know, I can always sit back at home, you know, and lock the door and put a movie on. I've got this great, you know, channels where I can get 15,000, 20,000 channels of all the different movies that I can watch, or UFC or MotoGP or whatever. For me, I'm never bored here. I've always got something to do, and you know.
Now, do you go back to Australia regularly, or do you plan on going back?
No, I'm retired now, so that's it. This is my home.
I mean, what about family and friends? You think you'll ever go back there?
Well, the beauty is with the internet. I can just I talk to my family all the time via messenger. So that's it. But you know, I'm not going to backwards and forwards, and as you know, this COVID thing, you know, pans out or extends. Hopefully, you know, it's you know, you've got all these requirements. You've got to get this test and that test, and I'm not interested. Here's where I live now. I'm super happy.
Good for you.
Happy.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your collection with us, sharing your story. I really enjoyed meeting you and seeing your bikes, and I really want to take a trip around the island with you.
Do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Anytime. And any of you viewers that want to come over, please reach out. You know, we can catch up, and you know, I can help them with anything to do with the motorcycle.
Do you want to put your email address in the description so people can contact you? Or?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll do that. So I'm sure you have a lot of people that are into motorcycles that have questions for you and just want to make friends with you on Facebook and stuff.
Absolutely, not a problem.
Fantastic.
Well, thanks everybody, and hope you enjoyed what we talked about.
And one more time, what's the name of your channel?
It's Riding the Islands with Harrow.
Okay.
So Harro.
And I will be putting a link to that in the description.
Okay, thank you.